Good morning. Yesterday I was very disappointed when I read the news that Juan Soto was going to the Mets. That the Yankees' final offer for Juan Soto was painfully close to the Mets, but not good enough. So now the Yankees have a lot of work to do to rebuild the team to get them to the World Series and to win the World Series. But now I can't go through all the crap that they're going to do with the pitching and the bullpen and replacements and everything. They offered an awful lot of money to Soto, but of course the Mets owner has plenty of money and he offered more and Soto took it. And the Mets have good reason to have done that because they came extremely close to getting to the World Series last year. They lost to the Dodgers in 6 games. And so if you look at the Mets lineup with Soto in it, it's quite possible that they could win the National League Championship this year and end up in the World Series. I don't think that the Mets owner was spending this money just to prove that he could spend money. Steve Cohen is not a dumb person. He's putting this money out because he wants the Mets to make it to the World Series. And they were close last year. So even though the Yankees had unlimited resources at their disposal, there was a certain point at which they couldn't go any further. And they did not want to back away from the negotiating table. And Hal Steinbrenner gave it his best and final offer, but it wasn't quite good enough to keep Soto in the Bronx. And the Mets signed Soto to this 15-year, $765 million contract that includes bonuses. So that deal could reach $800 million or maybe more if Soto hits the escalators, whatever those are. Basically, the Mets offered Soto everything except a piece of the franchise. And maybe that's what's going to happen in baseball in the future. The money's going to get so crazy, and I believe it will get even crazier than this one. And there probably will be a point that some great ball player or many great ball players will get a piece of the action, own a piece of the ball team that they're playing for. Wouldn't that be something? And maybe even a bunch of ball players will buy a team. Who knows the way that's going to go? And I remember when ball players had to hold out for getting money. And they were locked in. There weren't contract breaks like there are now. So when you had a guy like Joe DiMaggio, who was a star for the New York Yankees when I was a kid, he had to hold out, refuse to come to training camp in order to get a $5,000 raise. And he was a guy that had a 56-game hitting streak. You think Soto will ever have a hitting streak like that? And Soto, at the age of 26, is a future Hall of Famer. And he's one of the most polished hitters in baseball. He's not a great fielder. Not by any stretch of the imagination is he a great fielder. But he's a hitter. And he's a great hitter. He doesn't strike out a lot. He hangs in there. And he gets walks, too. So that's important. At the plate, he's important. And what's even more important when you consider the situation, in baseball, when he ages and he can't really play the field anymore, he can still bat. So the Mets have made a good deal for themselves. And they made him the richest player in baseball baseball history. In my mind, he deserves every penny. He has proved it over the couple of years that he's been in the game. He's 26 years old, and he's already won a World Series, but not with the Yankees. And that's a big disappointment in my mind, because I'm a big Yankee fan. And I've been a big Yankee fan since I was a tiny little kid in the Bronx. And I lived in a neighborhood where I could walk to Yankee Stadium when I was young. And I could go there with maybe 50 cents in my pocket and watch a doubleheader on Sunday. Sit in Yankee Stadium all day in the bleachers. And it was great fun. I didn't have to take the train because I lived that close. And I am a die-hard Yankee fan and greatly disappointed in the result of this Soto deal. But we have to move on, and I am hoping that the Yankees have a plan laid out so that they can recover from this disappointment. I don't know what they're going to do. Get some more pitching. Get another hitter or two. Get some people who can field. Their fielding was not great last year. They got to replace a guy at first base. So they have a lot of work to do. And I'm hoping that they now can focus on that and forget about the loss of Juan Soto. It's time to get the team in shape. Baseball is a team game. It's not one player that can make that much of a difference. But Soto is one of those players. So it's a big loss for the Yankees, but they have to move on. They have to get their heads on straight and move on and create a team that the Bronx will be proud of. And I don't know if there are young people who will not be Yankee fans because they lost Juan Soto. That's something to consider too. So I leave you with that this morning. A disappointed Yankee fan, but knowing full well that the team can recover and build another championship. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.